This is our CS 1400 class, and today we're going to go over strings and user-defined methods. We're going to talk about review some of the string methods that we did the first week of class, and then catch us in the next video and we'll describe how to create your own user-defined method. Okay, so as far as the string methods go, I'm going to do a little review. You can compare characters, single characters, and you can it's with the char data type. It can't be a string data type, and the reason why you can compare characters is because every character actually has an ASCII value in the ASCII chart. So a capital A has a 60, a B has a 61, all the way till you get to Z, which is 90, and if you keep going sequential in the alphabet you'll get to 90. It doesn't skip around. Now the lowercase letters, the lowercase a is 97, that's the ASCII value of it. And then a B is 98, and you can test these out actually in Notepad. So let me give you an example. Here I have just plain old Notepad. If I hold my what is it, my alt key, I'm going to type in 97 on my number pad, and that's going to give me a lowercase a. If I hold my Alt key down and type in 122, that's going to give me a Z. You can do some weird letters, like here's Alt 1, so 1 is a happy face, 2, there's another kind, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6. You just have to hold the Alt, and you have to use the number pad. You can't use the numbers at the top. But you can come up with some pretty interesting characters. And that's because it's all based upon these number values in the ASCII chart. Alright, so because of that, we can use greater than, less than, equals, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to compare characters. Do I have an example of this? Yes, I do. A character is a single letter. So char letter, and then letter equals a. Now notice I have single quotes here instead of double quotes. Double quotes is for a string, but single quotes is for a single character. And then if we wanted to, and I didn't add this, I'll add this in right now while you're watching, I can compare using an if statement. So I could say if letter equals Z or something like that, and I could do an if statement based upon my my letter. Okay, now the reason I'm telling you this, I mean this seems like an obvious thing because that's all we've done up until now, is you can't always do that on strings. On a string you cannot compare based upon the ASCII chart, and the reason why is because there's a lot. I hate those quotes, so I'm going to paste that one in, sorry. Okay, so let's go on and show you. Okay, so instead we use a string method. The dot equals will determine if two strings are equal to each other, and then you have a dot equals ignore case, which will do the same thing, but it will ignore the upper and lowercase letters and just see if the letters are equal. Please tell me I gave you an example. I did! Yay! Okay, so here I have string band equals Aquabats, because of course that's my favorite band of all times. String favorite equals, and they're just getting an error and some information from the keyboard. And then I'm going to see if those two are equals, and I have to use this dot equals. So it says if favorite dot equals band, then system.out.print. Yes, they totally rock. That means you agree with me. So in this particular situation, they would have to type this in exactly like this with an uppercase A in order to get it to print out this if statement. Otherwise it wouldn't. If we want, we could change this and put in a equals ignore case to the band, and then they wouldn't have to type that in. They could type in an uppercase B here if they wanted to, so long as they had the letters all the same, it would work. So reminder, you cannot compare two strings using a double equal. Okay, substring, this is just a review. This is actually the exact slide you've seen earlier. So just a review, substring, if I want to do a substring of 6, I would come in here, put this, there's my Weaver state, starting at 6, it would give me a substring from character 6 on to the end. So school.substring, open parentheses 6, gives me just the word state from the string Weber state. Now the review, you can have a start and an end. So here I have Weber space state, a substring from 2 to 4, putting that in my little number chart starting at 0 from 2 to 4, not including 4, gives me just the BE in Weber. Okay, the reason I show you that is because there's also a charAt. In this particular situation, it's not returning a string. It is returning a single character. And that's important because you do need to know what data type you are returning in order to save it as that data type. So here I have Weber state. Again, I'm sticking this once again into my, but this time it's only going to return back character 6. And it is not going to return it back as a string. It is going to return it back as a single character. Okay, so here is the difference between charAt and Substring. charAt allows you to access only a single character, and it does return the character data type, not a string data type. Versus Substring, you can access part of a string or a single letter. It returns, even if you are returning a single letter though, it still returns it as a string type. And so you'd have quotes around it instead of single quotes. So that's the difference between the two, but basically the same thing. This one's a little bit more flexible. If you want to access multiple characters in the string, this one only returns one. Okay, index of does the exact opposite of what we're just talking about. A substring takes in a number and returns back a string. This takes in a string and returns back a number. So here's index of. Let me bring up my little chart again. So it's trying to find ER. So it comes in and says, oh, there is ER right there. It's going to return back the number that's at that particular position. So this is going to give me, it's going to print out 3 because ER starts at position 3. Now, sometimes, do I have enough? Yes. Here's another example. It's still searching for Weber state, but it's searching for the string ZZ. Well, if we look through our Weber state, there is no ZZ. So instead, it's going to return back a -1, specifying that ZZ does not exist in this string. Okay, last one. Here I want to find the index of an E. Well, if we look, there's multiple E's in this particular sentence. Since it's just got one parameter, there's only one item in there, it's going to return back the first E in the sentence. So that's going to give me position 1. Now, if I put in a second parameter, it's going to give me a position of where it wants me to start searching. So in this particular situation, it's going to skip this E, it's going to skip this E because it's not even going to start searching until it gets to position 5. So in this situation, it's going to give me back 10, meaning the very first E after character 5 is now 10. Okay, so that brings us to user-defined methods. I'm going to have you catch me in the next video as we discuss user-defined methods.